Welcome to The Global Girlfriend.
Shall we book a flight to Santiago, Spain?
Yup. Okay, welcome back to The Global Girlfriend, everybody. My name's Brianna.
And my name's Morgan, and we are your hosts, and just so excited to have you all here today.
We have a super special episode for you. We have our first guest who we are so excited about, and today's topic is all about how to maintain close relationships with your families while you live abroad.
Okay, so our guest today is a special friend, Paloma. And so, we're going to talk on, how to keep those connections going with your family when you're living far. So a little bit of brief background on Paloma. So she's been traveling for quite a long time, starting back in her teenage years, doing exchange programs and so many things in between, and currently as an international teacher.
And something that we really love about Paloma and we really admire about Paloma is just how close she is with her family. So we are so excited to have her as our first guest on the Global Girlfriend podcast. Everybody, please welcome Paloma.
Oh, yay!
Hi, Paloma.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
And we are so excited to have you. Why don't we get the ball rolling? Can you maybe tell us a little bit about your first international experiences, how you started this journey?
Yes, my parents always loved traveling when we were younger, but it was more like local trips within Spain, and they loved camping. We did a few international trips, but it wasn't until I became a teenager that my parents were like, "We want you to learn English." So every summer, they sent me abroad to a different English-speaking country to live with host families or to live in an kind of like an international school, just to be surrounded by other international kids and learn English. So I was in England, in Malta, in California a couple of times, in Australia, in Florida. Once my English got decent, they tried with French. My French is not as good as my English, unfortunately. But I spent some time in Nice and also in Quebec a couple of summers. And I think that was the beginning. That made me realize there's much more than Spain. It was those experiences, really.
Oh my goodness. Okay, those are so many beautiful experiences all over. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Are you still practicing your French today?
I've been thinking about getting back to it, maybe using Duolingo or something like that. But because the language that I use daily is English, and even my Spanish is getting bad because I never use it. And I use English for work, and being a
Mhm.
non-native speaker, I want to become better at English. I'm actually at the moment trying to improve my pronunciation and the way I use my English, actually. So focusing on that rather than in French.
Oh, gotcha. Because I remember in Albania you were taking
Yeah, I got back to
lessons. That's
French in
awesome.
Albania, but yeah, priorities at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what would you say, like specifically, what made you fall in love with living abroad?
I honestly think it was those summer camps abroad and being able to experience other cultures and how it's life somewhere else. And for me, it was very important. Uh, Living with host families. At the moment, I'm still very close to my American family. Actually, my American mom, Mabel, she came and visited me in Singapore more than 15 years later. Like we met more than 15 years ago.
Oh,
And it made me realize how life is in different places, how different like schools can be in different places, how different like food can be in different places and stuff like that. Also, I mean, only from the perspective of a teenager. But yeah, I think that made me realize I want to experience this. This is exciting. This is different. I learn a lot every time. Stepping out of my comfort zone. It's fun. It's this adrenaline, and I think I'm still
yeah.
addicted to that feeling.
I get that. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
and then after that, when I became when I decided I wanted to go to college and become a teacher, I chose a university in Madrid that allowed me to do placements, my teaching placements abroad, so I could see different educational systems. And I was for a month in Sweden in a school, for a year in Finland. Then I did a semester in Atlanta, Georgia, and then some volunteering in Nepal. So seeing all those international not international, seeing all those schools in different contexts, just in different countries operating similarly but also differently. I think it made me realize, like, oh, maybe I can just teach somewhere else, not just home. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is incredible and so inspiring. And I just think to see so many different cultures and to have so many international experiences at such a young age, you can really
Yeah.
see just because, we know you in your life, sort of how that has led to this incredible international lifelong journey. So, on that note, you finished university, you had traveled, you had seen the world, and then you made the decision to live abroad. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about where you've actually lived and worked.
Yes. I I try to think about places where I've lived as places where I've officially file taxes, like, because I've lived for short periods of time in different places, but like places where I've properly have like a full-time job as a teacher would be, well, I started my career in Spain just for a couple of years. My goal was always to go abroad, but you need to get some experience on your CV. Then I moved to Dubai, spent 2 years in Middle East. Lovely, got to explore like Middle East, all the countries around. Then moved to Albania. That was during COVID. It just happened. I think that's where I met Brianna and Morgan. I think we all ended up somehow there, but it ended,
Exactly.
yeah, it ended up being a great decision through wonderful years in Albania. We all love Albania. And then
Mhm.
after Albania, I think I was ready for a more international country, a more international community. So I wanted to go back to a place with many expats and good weather. I love good weather. I love the sunny days. The tropical weather makes me happy. So ended up in Singapore, which is where I'm based at the moment. Luckily, very close to Brianna. I mean, 3 hour flight to Bali, but close.
We still
No,
feel like we're
that's
neighbors.
yeah. I love that.
Now we're
Oh,
hoping to have you on this side of the world visiting us, Morgan.
Yes, hoping in the fall still to come see you
Yeah.
guys. That's the dream. That is the dream.
yeah.
Okay,
We
love to get just a refresher of your life story. It's fun to just hear all the details, the places you've been. So back to family. So what were the initial challenges like being away from your family, would you say?
Yeah, yeah, of course. When you see from the outside, it's like, oh, what a wonderful life! Like going here, going there, traveling here, traveling there. But it is challenging in many occasions, and I will get deeper into like one of my biggest challenge is usually living abroad when I really feel homesick later. But I must admit that the reason why I think it's been quite relatively easy for me, it's because it happened so organically. It wasn't like I
Mhm.
moved all of a sudden abroad, fresh out of my parents' house. No, it was like initially going away on those summer camps for 3, 4 weeks. Then in college, oh, a couple of months here, then a semester here, then moving
Mhm.
full time abroad, but still going back 2, 3 times a year, like going back home 2 or 3 times a year. Uh, so, and also slowly going farther away. Like I'm not in Singapore, but I've been closer to home, just like one flight away. So I think that made it easier. Like kind of like my parents saw it coming, and I saw it coming too. Um, so those strong bonds. I never thought that being far would be compromised. Yeah.
I love that. And that's something that we sort of talk about a lot on this podcast is the idea that you don't have to change your life all of a sudden, all at once. You don't have to move from North America to Australia. You can
Yeah.
start by moving even across your own country and slowly
Mhm.
easing into it.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving us
And the
that
time zone
experience.
helps. For the first international move, I think that if you try to stay in the same time zone, because I
Yeah.
remember when I did my summer camps in Malta or UK, if I wanted to call my parents at any point, I mean, you really couldn't because I didn't have a phone or a laptop. It's those times when you had to go to a place, put a coin, and get on internet. But it was kind of like easier. once you go to California or Australia, you might want to call your parents and they're not up. Which I
Yeah.
will always knew if there's an emergency you can call, but it's better to know that your friends and your family is on the same time zone, I think, at the beginning.
At the beginning,
Yeah.
I totally agree, and I would say
Yeah.
even now, Paloma and I both moved from Albania to Asia at the same time. I so many times I've been so thankful that you and I are in the same time zone. You know what I mean? And both of us have
100%.
been traveling. We've been traveling for years at this point, and it is really good to have someone, that you trust that you can connect with in your own time zone for those
100%.
emergencies when you really just need a friend.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
into, because we just think that the relationship you have with your family is so amazing. What are some strategies that you have used or developed to stay close with your family?
Yeah. Well, for me, video calls, but there's always time. Sometimes I call them when I'm in public transportation, just on the MRT, or while I'm ironing. I love calling someone when I'm ironing, or while I'm cooking. I mean, I don't cook that often, but when I'm doing some of the house chores, that's a great time to call because we have a busy life. You might not have time to just sit down and call, but just do a quick call. There's always time. um Voice notes instead of texting, it makes you feel closer. Like sometimes when they send me a voice note, especially my nieces, I will listen to it
Oh.
several times. It's just more personal than a text. I send so many photos, not only to my family, to my friends too. I'm just such a photo person. But it doesn't have to be just big moments. Like I recently went to India and I sent all the pictures to my parents. But also, last weekend I bought a new backpack. I'm 33. I really don't need to show my parents my new backpack. I sent it to my mom. I want her to see
Oh,
my
I
mom.
love that.
Or is I wake up in the morning, there's a cockroach in my toilet. I live in a ground floor unit in Singapore. I might send a picture to my mom and say, "That's a cockroach here. Is she gonna fix it?" No, but I like to keep her informed and involved. So it's
Yeah.
small moments too. Yeah, uh, I love hosting. Um, Unfortunately, my parents, for different reasons, cannot travel, like do big trips and come visit. But my sister has visited me in Dubai and Albania. Not in Singapore yet, but she has two kids now, small kids, so it's a bit harder, getting trickier. Another thing is I visit whenever I can. Usually try to go home Christmas and summer. It's expensive, of course. It's time, but for me, I see that as an investment. Going there and reconnecting with everybody and recharging my family batteries. And the last one, and I think this is very important for me, is getting them involved in any decision. I go through
Mhm.
recruitment every time I decide to move to a new country, to pick a new school. And it's a tedious process. It's a long process. It's exhausting. So whenever I start considering, like, oh, what if I move to this country? I will share it with my parents, and they love doing some research about the country. I know they're always very supportive, so I don't mind sharing it with them. I know they're not going to say, don't go there or go here. Or like if I decide, oh, tomorrow I have an interview with this school in Ethiopia, I send them the name so they can look at like the videos online or like get an idea of where I could end up. So I think they like that. They know what is happening in my life, although they're very far away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, those are all just such great things. And you're just, one, you are just such a great host, I will say. And two, also just you're so good at just maintaining relationships and seeing it with your family. And even, I think, Brianna and I, just as your friends, experiencing that. So super special. Okay, so what does it look like maintaining closeness with your nieces?
Yeah, that looks a bit different because
Yeah.
one of them is, I think, 7 months old, and the other one is
Okay.
three, just turned three. It was easier with the oldest one because when she was born, I was living in Albania, which is
Hmm.
much closer to home. So I actually
Yeah.
flew as a surprise when she was born, the week she was born. I flew
Oh,
home,
yeah.
surprised my parents, surprised my sister. So that was really nice that I was closer to home and I could just, when she turned 1, I flew back home. That's not possible anymore. I'm really far. But then
Mhm.
I do video calls with them. I mean, when they're with my parents or with my sister, right? I call my parents or
Mhm.
my sister and I see them. And sometimes they might just be eating or playing, doing their stuff. But they hear me, they see my face, they see that
Mhm.
someone they love, like their parents or grandparents, are talking to me. So, oh, this person might be someone we trust too. So they start, yeah, um, building that trust too, I guess. Uh,
Mhm.
Sometimes, and this is because I'm a teacher, maybe, and because I went through COVID with a full class of 4 years old, I will do like book reading online. So I'll get a little book from my class
Oh.
and I read it online for my niece, for Blanca. But of course,
Oh, that's so cute.
I have access to little kids' books because that's my job, and yeah, I
Mhm.
like it. Um, and when I'm traveling, for instance, sometimes I'll send a picture or a video. I recently went to India and I sent a picture from, no, a video from India to my niece, the one who's 3. And I was like, hey, I'm in India and I came here in an airplane, stuff like that. I'm sure sometimes she just ignores the videos, but sometimes they say, oh, it's Paloma, it's my auntie. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and when I go home, we do things like pajama parties and stuff like that. I try to make it fun, that quality time when we're home, right? And
Mhm.
I always bring presents from my traveling, and it's all these exciting presents like books in different languages or like snacks, something a bit different from the trips I do. So, yeah.
Mhm.
That is so special, and I think that, like, it's so wonderful because I'm sure they look forward to seeing you and that sort of stuff, but now just, like, with technology, the fact that, like, they'll still probably have those videos when they're a little bit older, and they'll be able to look back
Yeah.
on those books when they're a little bit older and just see, like, "Wow, Auntie Paloma, like, what an amazing life you had," and I just think, like, you do such a great job to when they're older and they can understand a little bit more, like, they'll definitely look back and just be able to see sort of the effort that you made, and you're just sort of giving them an incredible perspective from your really
Mhm.
unique life. I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
such an
Um,
because it is
inspiration.
hard to be far. Sometimes it is hard. You're missing out on a lot, and you come back and they're a year older.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot changes when they're that young too. Like that's just children are fascinating. Let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
about when you do actually go home. So you mentioned that you go home twice a year. Is that an easy thing to do? Is it difficult? Can you just talk a little bit about your experience of how you make the most of your time at home?
To be honest, from Albania and from Dubai, it was very easy. I mean, yeah, it was easy to go back home twice a year, Christmas and summer. We're lucky that we're teachers, and 3 weeks at Christmas time, 6, 7 weeks in the summer. So I'm really happy and glad that we have those long holidays. But now from Singapore, although the holidays are long, it's getting harder. It's just two long flights, like 8 hours, 8 hours, just to get to Spain. I'm
Yeah.
from this beautiful town, Pontedeume, in the northwest of Spain, but it's painful to get there from even from Madrid. It's just like another flight or a 6 hour, 5 hour train. So it's just
Mhm.
takes a while to get there. But so far, I always go home twice a year. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep up with that. At the moment, my current partner is from South Africa. He has family living in London. For instance, this summer we're gonna be doing Spain and the UK too. Like you need to divide a little bit your time. So yeah, it's definitely getting
Mhm.
harder considering how far I am and my partner's needs too. But trying my best.
Yeah. And you're doing great. Okay, so you've mentioned quality time, and you're really great at that. So quality over quantity. So can you share a little bit of how you make the most of your short visits?
Yeah, I think it's just you learn to make the most of your time as an expat because you know
Yeah.
when you go home it's a limited time. And I always have a list. I mean, you both know I love lists. And I always have it's a
Yeah.
physical list and I know
Mhm.
where are the places I want to go to. And it might be something outdoorsy or it might be a restaurant I want to go to or it might be
Mhm.
a visit to a shop. but I know what are the things I want to do with my family. Let's go shopping here. Let's go eat here. Let's go for a walk here. Might be small things, nothing fancy, but I make sure I take those things off the list when I go home. Like I plan in advance, let's say, to make sure I don't waste 2 weeks home
Yeah.
doing nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So super, super intentional
Yeah,
with your list
exactly.
and your time.
Intentional is a good word, Morgan.
Yeah. Love
That's
that.
awesome. And so you have had some experiences where your family or even close friends who are like family have come to visit you. How do you make those visit happen? And do you have any like special memories from times when people have come to your side of the world?
Yeah, I love hosting. And as you both know, I prepare a Google Doc where I plan all the things we're going to do. It's flexible, but it gives us an idea so that we don't miss out anything. Again, as Morgan said, being intentional about that time because it's the same with friends when you live abroad. There are friends that you see once a year, once every 3 years. So, yeah, you need to be intentional and make the most of the time. For instance, my sister visited in Dubai, and we visited Dubai and Oman when she was there. We spent New Year's Eve at the desert camping. It was so cool. That was 5 years ago, I think. And then she came with her partner and my niece when she was 4 months old. My niece, they came to Albania. And did you both meet her? I would say so. Morgan, were you still in Albania?
I don't think I met them in Albania, but I met them when I
In
came to visit.
Spain. Yeah,
And
you met them in
yeah, yeah.
Spain. And I think Brianna met them in Albania when my niece was a
Yeah,
Okay.
baby. Yes.
yeah.
And
Aw.
yeah, it was very special for me, like seeing my 4 months old niece there. But yeah, the visits from the family, as I say, are getting harder. Parents are getting older. And my sister now has 2 kids, a little baby. So I'll continue to host friends.
Yes. Love that. Okay. Okay. So I feel like living abroad, well, I guess life in general, there's a lot of emotional ups and downs. And
Mm.
I think, especially with living abroad, it's, a lot of extremities. And being far from your family and your home country, there's moments and different things that are missed. So, can you like share a little bit about some of those things? What's that like for you? And how do you cope with it?
Yeah, it's a roller coaster living abroad, I think, because the ups are very high and the downs are very low, I would say. For me, one of the things that I do is I don't like that I miss birthdays. So for birthdays, I try to send something to my family and we open it together. So I we open it during a video call. They do the same. My
Oh,
birthday is in August, and when I pack my bags during the summer, my mom would always squeeze in a little present, and my sister does it too. And I open it on my birthday from
oh,
Singapore or from wherever I am in the world during a video call. So we open it, let's say, together. We do the same for Reyes. Reyes is the big Christmas day where we open the presents. Like we have Santa Claus, Papa Noel, but we also have the three kids, the three Reyes that come with presents. And I also open a few presents with my family on that day. Um, then, for instance, something that's really hard is when tough times. Like my grandma, unfortunately, passed a few months ago, and for me, the calls were very helpful. Knowing that I could call my parents at any time and trying to be
hmm
there to support my mom too. It was my mom's mom. Uh, Moments like that, for me, there's no time difference. If my family needs to call at 4 a.m., I'm up. It's okay. I know
yeah,
if I need to call my parents at any time, they will be there for me. Moments like that in my family, the time zone doesn't exist. It's not important. Call at any time. And that is very reassuring for me. Like it gives me a lot of peace
hmm
knowing that when I'm going through a tough moment abroad, I can just call my parents and they're 100% there for me. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that I mean, that's so special to have that bond and relationship. And oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your grandma. I didn't know about
Yeah.
that. But I'm so thankful y'all have each other and are able to
Yeah.
support each other,
Mhm.
Yeah.
even from
That's
afar.
That's really beautiful. And I think, do you ever feel, I mean, you've been at this for a long time. You've spent short bursts of time and long periods of time away from your family. Do you ever feel homesick even after
I,
all this time?
yeah, I don't tend to feel homesick often. However, I must say, when I'm actually sick, and it might just be the flu or a cold, I get homesick and I just want to be back home with my parents taking care of me.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And I think you're going to agree with me with what I'm going to say. It is painful navigating an unknown healthcare system, especially when
Oh,
you
yeah.
just move to a country and trying to deal with a new health insurance. And sometimes you need to do all that in a different language, like in Albania. The language barrier was big. Uh,
Hmm.
and then, for instance, when I was in Albania, it was during COVID. I mean, COVID hit when I was in Dubai, but then I didn't get COVID until was in Albania. Anyway, I got COVID in Albania, 2 weeks that I had to be home. If you've been to Albania, well, maybe things have changed, but when I lived there, delivery of anything, it's not always an option. It's not like groceries and food delivery. It's just not always an option. And it can get very boring and like overwhelming. Luckily,
Hmm.
community is so important when you're an expat. And everybody in the community, and I was working as a teacher there in the school, will come and bring one day like chicken soup, another day like a puzzle for
Oh.
me to make, or like bring flowers. So people were dropping things off because it wasn't just that easy to access everything. Like now that I live in Singapore, it's like, oh my gosh, COVID, so easy here in that sense. But in Albania, it wasn't that easy. And those are the moments that you're like, oh, I was just home and my parents were taking care of me. Such a baby sometimes.
Oh, yeah. But we can relate to that, huh?
We
That's how
can
I am too when I'm
totally
sick.
relate to that. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I know I had dengue fever like last year, and I have even my sister was visiting me. Like I had my sister here visiting, and the whole time I was like, I just wish I was at home. I hate it here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think dengue is, I can justify that. I've heard dengue is very tough. I mean, I saw you going through that. Fair enough. It's not a
But no.
cold.
Any sickness though is just, it really makes you just feel so, you feel so pathetic, but
Yeah.
we get through.
And we're in it together. We're in it together. Oh, okay. So speaking of parents and and wanting them when we're sick, but so how would you say that your family has supported your international dreams?
Oh, they support me 100%. I
That's
always
special.
say that they saw it coming. As I
Yeah.
explained earlier, for me it was a very smooth transition. As a
Hmm.
teenager, I'll go abroad for a couple of weeks. Then, as a young adult, exchange programs for a few months. So they definitely saw it coming, and I always talked about it and dreamed about it. So they were ready for it. And my parents, my dad always says, like, you are our eyes and we see the world through you, which I think is very beautiful that he says that.
Oh, yeah,
He,
that's like
That's so
poetic.
beautiful.
yeah, we have a family Amazon photos account, and after every trip, I always upload all my photos there. That way, I know they're safe, but also my parents can see them instantly on the big TV at home, and my dad loves going through them.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
That's so fun. That's so beautiful. What I mean, a lot of times when people think about being close with your family, for a lot of people that means being home for every holiday and spending, Sunday lunches with the family and this sort of thing. For a lot of people, that's what closeness means. How have you been able to redefine what closeness means for you living so far away?
Yeah, for me, you just need to prioritize uh, what's good for you, but also in a way that you can still it can still be good for the family. For me, my priority, the life that I want to live, is being abroad. That makes me happy. Being an international teacher, that makes me happy. But that doesn't mean I need to compromise my relationship with my family. And again, then I know that I need to work harder and I need to prioritize making an effort to be close to them being far. And that's when all the strategies that I mentioned before, like the video calls, the sending presents,
Mhm.
the being present, voice notes, play an important role. Finding the time to do all those things during while I live abroad. Don't know if it makes sense.
That's awesome. I love that. That makes so much sense. I guess, we're sort of kind of coming to the end of this amazing interview. But before we wrap up, if you had to give, like, maybe say for 3 top tips for staying emotionally connected to your family while living abroad, what would you say are 3 things that you must do?
Keep them involved, as I said earlier. Not only the big decisions, but also small decisions like what can I cook for dinner tonight? Something small, it's okay. They're
Hmm.
gonna appreciate it. There's always time for a call. Again, priorities. If you need to call while you're walking back home, it's gonna be 2 minutes call, but if it's meaningful, it's better than not calling. And it's hard to visit all the time. It's money and time, but it's money and time well invested. So visit as much as you can. So I would say those are my 3 main things. Yeah.
Oh, those are
Amazing.
three great things.
Mhm.
So, what would you tell your younger self or other women about choosing both, about choosing this international life of adventure and also connection?
I would say I will tell her it's doable. You can do it. You just need to work a little bit harder. Because if you don't work
Hmm.
hard to maintain those connections, they will fade away. And maybe with the family it's harder that they fade away because family is family, but even with your friends from back home you need to work to maintain those relationships. So yes, you can be adventurous and you can love living abroad, and but still continue to build and work daily on those relationships, like build memories and
Hmm.
meaningful moments when you go back home. And so it's hard but not impossible. um, and just always involve them. As I said, I keep repeating myself, but let your family be part of your experience abroad. Let them be
Hmm.
part of your life, even though you're really far.
I love that. I think
Me
we
too.
both are just so impressed with you and your life, and we just think that the way that you have let the last 32 years, 3 years play out has been like so beautiful and wonderful, and the relationship you have with your family is really really inspiring. So thank you for sharing all of these wonderful thoughts with us today.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so
having me.
much. Oh, it has been so great. And it's so good to see you.
Yay!
um, this has been really, really fun. We are so grateful for Paloma for sharing this incredible wisdom with us. You've inspired me to call my parents today. They're traveling right now, but I'll call you guys later. Uh, um, but yeah, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a wonderful episode. Morgan, if people want more advice like this, or if they want to connect with us online, how can they do that?
Yes. Okay. So you can find us on social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram at The Global Girlfriend. You can also email us at theglobalgirlfriend@gmail.com if you want to share a more lengthier, more personal note there. We'd love to hear from you on those ones.
We love hearing from you, and we will be back next week with a brand new episode. Paloma, thank you again so much for being with us, and this has been a really fun episode. Have a great week, guys.
Yes. Okay. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.